So, Courtney Williams was the point guard for the Minnesota Lynx, who were, in my opinion, the one team that were just better than the Fever. Like, I thought the Fever had a shot against the Liberty at full strength. I thought the Fever had a shot against the Aces. They got better every single time they played the Aces. Thought they had a shot against the Sun. Unfortunately, they did lose in 2, though. But the one team who's coming into the playoffs being like, nah, they have no shot against was the Minnesota Lynx. And her opposing point guard was Courtney Williams in those matchups. In this video, we're going to be talking about Courtney Williams right here. I'm going to be talking about what she said about Caitlin Clark and the Fever. Not even, sorry, just the Fever, Caitlin Clark and the Fever in general. And we can then start to talk a little bit about what this means for the Fever coming into the season and the fact that, like, they're still, like, teams are still scared of this team. But anyway, let's take a listen.
There's also a lot of movement going on in the
And by the way, this is from the On Her Turf, I think. This is from that. So obviously this is Natalie Esquire and co with Courtney Williams.
WNBA. There was so much movement during free agency, and you guys are all at Unrivaled while all this movement is happening. And I know, like, the Lynx did not have as much activity as everyone else, but just
because there are no expiring contracts this year.
What is your reaction to all the movement in the WNBA this free agency season?
I mean, I think it's exciting. I mean, anytime you seeing all of these players that you're used to seeing in certain jerseys about to be in a different environment with a different organization, like, that's gonna be crazy, man. I thought AT about to be in Phoenix. That was crazy for me because I'm like, dang, okay, DB going to Indy, Natasha Howard going to Indy. Like, Indy about to be stacked. Like, Indy about to be looking good.
Super
I'm not
team?
gonna lie, like, Indy about to be a little scary. Like, we ain't scared, but they gonna be a little scary for other people.
We ain't scared, but, you know, other people, they're going to be scary for other people. Nah. They're going to be scary, and that's fine. It's completely fine to be scared of a team like Indiana. And by the way, big fan of Courtney Williams. Heck, my Twitter picture is me with her dad. But, like, the Fever they're a scary team. They are a scary team, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's hard to come up against a team who are going to be as relentless on the offensive end. Because obviously, it's always a tough one when you're coming up against, a team that's going to be locking you down in defense. It can get a little bit demoralizing at times. It really can, and but when a team is just sucker punching you constantly, when you go and play, when you go and get a bucket, you're doing okay, and then suddenly their team has gone down in 4 seconds and put up a shot and scored. It's going to be tough, and you've just got so many now. You've got so many of the likes of, like, a DeWanna Bonner, a Kelsey Mitchell, and Tash Howard. You've just got buckets. You've got elite shooters on the bench. Sophie Cunningham's elite. Hull. I like Lexi Hull when she's, as the Gattuso meme was, when it comes to Lexi Hull's offense, sometime maybe good, sometime maybe shit. So with her offense, it comes and goes. Defense and effort will always be there, but the Fever are so scary. The Fever's bench. I think we can be honest here. The Fever have the best bench in the WNBA. And they've won the best starters. Do they have the best bench? Like, their bench lineup, like Bree Turner at her best. If she's at her best, you have got Sydney Colson, Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, Damaris Dantes, Bree Turner. Plus whoever they get. That is a real good bench. That's a real good bench. And that bench is not a good starting five. But, like, there will be starting fives for other teams worse than the Indiana Fever bench. Like, there's going to be a team that goes through an injury crisis. Like, imagine if, let's just say, the Mercury go through a bit of an injury crisis, and Satu has one of her normal injuries, and then, like, Copper is injured. So suddenly you've got Anna Makarat, Katrin Westbeld, Alexa Held, Natasha Mack, Uzun, Celeste Taylor, Kalani Brown, Alyssa Thomas, Sammy Whitcomb, and Laxa. Like, I genuinely think, even with Alyssa Thomas, if they have Satu and Copper out injured, that the Fever bench five is better than whatever five they can come up with. There's a Mercury, like, I don't even know what the hell is going on with the Mercury. Like, I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking a little bit about that in a video tomorrow. I'm just recording this one in another video, and then getting to sleep. I am exhausted. I barely slept yesterday. But, yeah, so the Fever are such a scary team based on what they did in free agency. Like, I have to say, they, the Fever did a great job, and it's got to the stage where we've now got Lexi Brown and in one day Courtney Williams talking about Indiana being scary, and not in quite the way that Aja Wilson talked about Indiana being scary. She was just saying, you know, she's just obviously so shocked with good WNBA crowds that she was scared of those 10-year-old, 12-year-old girls all over the court. Aja Wilson felt like something was going to pop off with those 12-year-old girls. But obviously scary in a completely different way. And that's the thing where it's like, you just never know as well, because everybody thought that the Storm were going to be championship contenders this year, and they just weren't. They needed everything to go right, and not everything went right. So you just never know. But anyway, it is still mad to hear Courtney Williams talking about that. And obviously with that, we have got the Indiana Fever roster who, yeah, no question about that. The Indiana Fever are going to be scary for other teams to come up against. Like, no matter what you do on defense sometimes, if Stephanie White is even a competent offensive coach, this team should lead the WNBA in scoring, while not being quite as bad on defense. Like, they go to number 1 on offense and, like, number 7 on defense. They've got a chance of winning it all. If they're even a league average defense, genuinely, the Indiana Fever are probably going to win it all, because they're probably going to have the best offense in the history of the WNBA. But anyway, I'll see you guys.